Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. Let's go to, well, in a sense, noise. We'll be talking about noise later on. You probably have an idea where that might be going. But let me quickly introduce my guests this morning. We've got Reverend Dr. Ayojesu Koshemani. Reverend Dr. Koshemani is president of the Whole Truth Faith Ministries International, and we're delighted to have you on board. Thank you very much for coming on, Reverend.
Thank you.
Indeed. And sitting right next to him, well, we've got our friend, Hassan Abdul Aziz Sani, and I don't think he's going to be talking any of the current affairs where he normally has been holding sway. Today, I'm describing him as a practicing Muslim. That's it for today.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Good morning, and I'm delighted to have you.
Thank you.
Now, Lagos has just, through its commissioner said that, look, religious houses, we need to align some things here. There's the whole matter about land use charge that every responsible citizen, naturally owes the authorities. Okay, so there's that. And Lagos is saying that people should be careful and maybe desist from a practice of, because they have a religious house within their premises, for example, it might be a church, it might be a mosque in the yard, and then when officials come around for assessment, the Commissioner for Home Affairs, Abdul Hakim Abdul Latif, has said that it's not satisfactory for people to be pointing out that, did you not see the mosque downstairs? Did you not see the church downstairs? Or, whatever. You can see that there's a church in here, there's a mosque in here. In other words, we're exempt. And because that was the accusation of the Commissioner for Home Affairs, Abdul Hakim Abdul Latif, that the only reason this is why people are doing this is to escape that charge. I don't know what you think about this, because there are other aspects of it to go to. But first of all, let me start with you, if I could, Doctor. Surely there's not very much wrong with the position of Lagos State, or are there things that are there sort of things that you think you would also like to air in this whole matter?
Good morning, Nigerians. I want us to look at this in two ways. The house of God, the church of God, they are not the same. There are so many places today that are supposed to be solely designated as a house of God. But the people that worship there, they are the church of God. So if the Lagos State government is coming up with the idea that let there be a separation between a residential area and a place of worship, they are right. Because the reason why all this thing is happening like this is because in this country and some part of Africa, we are becoming more religious than spiritual.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, I want to seek a clarification. Yes, the house of God and the church of God. Well, we're talking about the church, yeah. Because I'm a bit confused about the house of God. And until you made a distinction, I would have thought when a religious man mentions, talks about the house of God, it's a euphemism for the church. But you're saying no, that they are different. Yeah. A church is a church. Yeah. Now, what is a house of God?
Okay. As I'm talking to you now, I am a church. And I have a place of worship. On Sunday, that place will be opened for myself and all my members to come and worship. All of us, as we gather there, we are the church.
Okay.
After the closing hour, after the grace, all of us will go home. Mm-hmm. We will close that house.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
People will say that, oh, this church, they have closed.
Okay.
Because we are no longer there.
Yes.
So we, the people that gave our life to Jesus Christ, we are the church.
Okay.
So that house is a church auditorium, an auditorium where church worshipped.
Now, why we're even having this conversation at all, because I think this is important, what you've just said, is that now that you've explained it a bit, there are those who are able to or who want to have, maybe there are those who have a chapel in their premises for themselves and their families. I don't think those ones have an issue. But there are also some who start small, and so they've converted their house to become a church because people from outside come there. Now, because it was designated as a residential building in the first instance, you can't now say, is what the government is saying, that you are exempt from the land use charge. That would not be fair. So that's where we are, and I'll come back to you because I want to understand from Alhaji Hassan how he sees it as well, because this concerns mosques as well. There are mosques up and down the land. Sometimes you have like you have big mosques like the National Mosque, you have the big mosque in Lagos, Jumat Mosque, but you also have small, perhaps able to contain maybe 20 worshippers that people in the area know and come down to, and they behave, for all practical purposes, like a full-fledged mosque. There's a loudspeaker up front that will wake everybody up, not just the Muslim faithful, will wake everybody up in the area. And so, but I'm coming to that aspect of the conversation later on. Give me your impression on Lagos State saying that religious houses should not try to pull a fast one on government in terms of paying their dues. In fact, my saying religious houses, maybe I should even sort of correct that and say that places of worship, churches within residential premises should desist from trying to pull a fast one. So now your interest is no doubt going to be mosques that are in the position that churches are also in.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yori. The issue of land use charges and Lagos State government. First of all, the Lagos State government plays into the hands of both faiths by exempting people from paying a land use charges. It's not an issue of trying to play a fast one on Lagos State government. No. Lagos State government is playing a fast one on itself.
You're talking about the fact of the law, which is that religious houses are exempt. That's what you're referring to. So why did you exempt mosques and churches?
You know what? You see, in everything there's a regulation. In everything, there's nowhere that is a no-go area for government. Government can regulate the way religious bodies conduct themselves. If you go down north, do you know that there is even this issue of permit before you can preach? That shows that government have a role to play in everything. Look, let us be sincere with ourselves. It's much more prominent with, mega religious bodies. And I look at it as a way of building empires around themselves. And this issue, it brought to the fore the comment made by Mr. Femi Falana when the pastor of Redeemed Church made much more a proposal that, look, there should be a church within a walking distance from workplaces. And Femi Falana responded by saying, I don't think that one is a church. What you are trying to do is to open a business centers. It is high time. Nowhere is our no-go area.
Now, this is a real sensitive, if you want, controversial area, especially the statement that a government has a right to regulate even the conduct of religious bodies.
Yes.
Yes, you said as much.
Even the way they go about it.
Even how they go about their business. Now, not all religious authorities will be clapping at that statement. I understand it. I'm just saying that to you. I'm sure you also know, but you're entitled to your right.
Yes.
Pastor, this whole point, on that whole point about, look, if you take it from the point of view of that, why did the government even distinguish between one kind of land use and the other? They themselves, quote unquote, shot themselves in the foot by saying religious bodies are exempt. Now you're saying you're mixing residents and you're mixing religious. Stop it. You're just muddying the waters. Would you agree with that?
Partially. In the past, sir, churches used to be planted outside the city, not within. But as the expansion begins to take place, just like in those days too, we do have army barrack in the bush, but today we have barrack inside the town.
Inside the town.
So today, due to the, I don't want to use the usual language of proliferation of churches, no.
Well, there is a proliferation of religious houses in Nigeria.
But I want to talk as a Christian and as a pastor.
Okay.
You see, yesterday I said even we need more churches. Because Jesus said, where 2 or 3 gather in my name, I am there. That means that place has already become a church. But sir, excuse me.
Sir, you're going about it, and I understand you because you are a pastor. Yeah. This is religious. This is deeply religious. This is not. The government is concerned, I imagine, with the law, the legal aspect of things,
there, sir.
Legal definitions.
I'm coming there, sir. You see, the only thing I think the government should be concerned about, there are 2, which I agreed upon. That is, wherever your church is, it is not compulsory you have to make noise. It is a fellowship center.
Okay, yeah, that's the other part of the conversation that I said I'll be coming to, because government in the past has actually reminded us that there's such a thing as noise pollution. Mosques and churches are guilty of creating noise pollution.
So the Land Use Act or whatever, the government has the power to charge a landowner. You are the owner of this land. You need to pay the government.
But right now, government exempts, first of all, churches don't pay tax.
Yes.
Understandable. Well, again, it's not very understandable, but then again, as a person of faith, it is understandable.
Yes.
Now, they're saying that, but don't stretch this to now, we said you don't pay tax, but now you're saying that even land use charge, you won't pay because there's a mosque or a church around. That's trying to pull a fast one.
Yes.
You would
Sincerely
agree
speaking,
that government is in
the
order.
Government is in order. They needed to pay because government has a lot of responsibilities to its citizens. So that all the church members, they are using all the amenities that governments are providing for others. That you are a Christian or a Muslim does not mean you don't use government amenities. And if government needs a tax, needs something from you in form of land use tax to pay government, in which the government will not have enough resources to do what they're supposed to. There's nothing wrong in that, sir.
Okay, fine. So I myself thought that there probably won't be too much argument on that because it is the law and most people are law-abiding. The only people who are exempt from all of this because they don't make any that much noise themselves, the traditionalists, because that's another arm of our religious fabric and foundation here. There's the Christianity, there's Islam, and there's also the traditionalists that were here before either the arrival of Christianity or Islam. But they don't have microphones and they usually don't deploy loudspeakers and microphones. And so that's another aspect of the conversation that we're going into now. Alhaji Hassan, this whole question of noise pollution that was brought up ultimately by government, but before government brought it up, I think it started, as far as I can remember, in Lagos State. It goes back to Fashola's administration. I don't think it has been abrogated, so it probably is still continuing, where they sought to show us that all sorts of pollution. Guys, noise pollution is also dangerous up in there. And with the decibel level of megaphones, loudspeakers from houses of worship. In the case of Muslims, the call to prayer in the morning. In the case of Christians, whatever the revival, everybody in that area, whether you're a Christian or a Muslim, whether you want to or not, you will be part of that. How fair is that? And can you see what government was trying to say? And is there a way out?
Look, there are many laws promulgated by state, federal, or even local governments. And out of the laws, there are laws that are silent. Silent laws. They are there. But there's nothing anybody can do about it. According
What
to
do you mean by silent law?
Silent law in the sense that the law is there.
Yes.
But
before even going to the law, sir, I wanted your impression on the practice of involving me, whether or not I am a Muslim, by disturbing my sleep, for example, and the same thing to the Christians, involving me, whether or not I am a Christian, in the revival going on, via your loudspeaker coming into where I'm at, 20 houses away. Your thoughts on that aspect of life?
Mr. Yori, my thought about it is this. I can only speak from the Islamic perspective of it.
Yes.
In my religion, there's nothing wrong in calling people to come for prayer.
Okay.
It's a 5 times a day issue.
That's right.
It's not throughout the day.
Oh, no.
It takes some few minutes, like an announcement.
No problem about prayer.
Don't worry about that. No. It's an announcement.
Oh, okay.
Not the prayers.
We're talking about noise pollution.
The calling people to come and pray.
Yes.
You understand? It takes few minutes.
Yes. We've allowed
the issue is this. Where is even loudspeakers now when there's no NEPA? No light to amplify your voice. No light to do that. You understand? When you are talking about noise, it's something that takes a very long time. No, this is a very short period of time. They call you, come for prayer.
Okay.
Come for prosperity.
Okay. So
you understand?
I understand you. So what you are saying is that
the issue is this. There are some noise that requires tolerance. There are some noise that are unpardonable.
That are unpardonable.
You understand?
Okay.
You see, the issue is this. There's nothing wrong in adhan, in Islam, to call people to prayer.
Yes.
But what I oppose to is, I observe some things in Lagos Island and other areas in Lagos.
Okay.
Where after the prayers, you will see the imam or somebody bringing in his own personal interest, saying, Ya Lagbaja, bring 10 to 20,000. May God forgive her. Ya Lagbaja, bring 10,000. She did this. Ya Lagbaja, bring 10 naira. Do this. That one is outside the confine of Islam.
Okay.
That can be regulated.
Okay.
But calling people to prayers.
I don't know if they do, if they say, Ya Lagbaja, bring, I think maybe they might be, testifying
at all levels.
Settling that we receive from Iyalagbaja this and this.
No. You see,
they are demanding.
The issue is this.
I'm sorry, sir.
When you are mixing up religion with your personal interest, we should be able to separate between the grains and the chaff.
Okay, but
that is where the regulation comes in.
I want us to stay on the very strict and narrow aspect of noise pollution with this. I'm not going into the actual practices of the faith, the noise pollution part that can be done without. But in the meantime, Maxwell in Temagana, thank you very much, sir, for holding on. Good morning.
Good morning, Uncle. Good morning, Alaji, my senior man over there, and the pastor.
Yes, Reverend Koshemani and Alaji Sonny.
Yes, sir. Alaji Sonny.
Yes, sir.
Kasan abin da ana kira jaki kanu ko? Okay. There is something I would like to say here. This land use charge is long overdue. I believe that there is no money now coming like the way it used to come. That is why the Lagos government is trying to implement them just to get this money from these people. As for me, I will advise the Lagos government or all the states in Nigeria to tax the churches. I will advise them to tax them. Tax the religious establishment. I will allow them. I will advise them to tax them.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
As for the noise pollution, that one is no-go area for me. At least, if you are worshiping, religion is a personal thing, and you don't need to allow your personal thing to affect other people that are living by the, by the side of the religious building. Mm-hmm. I lived in Sokoto, I lived in Kano, I lived in Kaduna and Niger State. I was during my service in the military. I know what was going on there. After the azan, once the prayer is closed, they will keep on preaching and preaching and preaching, not even in a loudspeaker mounted at the top of that building.
All right then. Well, thank you very much. Maxwell, thank you very much for calling in, sir. And Alhaji Sani, before I go to the Reverend, what was that Hausa sentence that he started off with?
No, he said he's Jakin Kanu. Jakin Kanu means somebody that grew up or born in a Hausa community and can speak Hausa very, very fluently.
Okay, and so knows the practices a bit. Okay, thank you very much, because we're a bit confused.
That is your own addendum to it.
What did you say added to it?
That knows the practice of it. That is your own addendum.
That is also a comment.
Point of correction.
I take that comment. I take that commentary. I take that commentary. Sir.
Mr. Yori, please. I want to encourage the government to look at this issue with a balanced view.
Sure.
You see, there's a difference between when there is a crusade, open air crusade,
yes,
or revival, or worship. You see, I want the government,
all of which use
the
megaphones.
Yes. Because whether you are
way above the accepted decibel level.
Yes, whether you are a Muslim or you are a Christian, these days wherever you go, you see every one of them organizing outside crusade. Sometimes along the major highways, sometimes different ways and different corners. These people make noise.
Okay.
Than the noise in the houses of gods.
Okay.
Then again, it is not only Muslims and Christians that make noise in their houses. We have go everywhere now. You will see. I don't want to mention their names.
Even record music players, cassette players.
Yes,
there's so much pollution going on
than the one that are coming from the religious houses.
Yes, but it was the whole regulation and point was not aimed at religious houses at the time. It was not. You remember, it encompassed all noise-making organs.
Yes.
It's just that it was surprising that religious houses that should be examples were also, unfortunately, culprits. So that's where it...
In the past.
I'm sorry, sir.
Okay.
I'm going to come back to you. Forgive me for interrupting you because Mr. Kola Martins came on the line in Ilorin, I believe. Good morning, Mr. Martins.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate the program you are having now as regards to the Lagos State government program.
Okay.
I think two things is happening here, sir. We need to get it very clearly. There is difference between the land use church and church being and a mosque being taxed. You see, we shouldn't be more sentimental about this. All over the world, the church and mosque were under taxation. They gave their tax to government. And sincerely speaking, the only thing the Lagos government needs to do as far as I'm concerned...
No, wait. That point, sir. Luckily, we have a man of God in the house who also, is connected very closely to a church. Churches don't pay tax. Mosques don't pay tax.
Yeah.
They do not. I thought you were saying that they do all over the world.
There's nothing wrong in that.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But Lagos State said you can't do that in a residential area where you come and now have a church or a mosque in your compound and say you've exempted the entire compound. You can't do that.
It's true. It's true. There's a difference between residential area.
Have you gone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Continue.
I agree with the Lagos State government.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.
They need to put a measure how to regulate all those things in place to balance the equation.
How about the matter of noise? How about the matter of noise from religious houses?
Yeah, the normal thing is to regulate it. and not allowing every one of them to start making noise all over. They make noise.
They refuse to be regulated. It goes back to fashion last time. Have you seen a decrease in the noise level?
Yeah.
You have?
Sincerely, it has not been observed up till now.
Okay.
I'm a Christian, and this is what I observe.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
thank you very much for
need to
calling
regulate
in.
it.
Thank you very much for calling in. Yes.
As I was saying, sir, in the past, churches used to have activities.
That's right.
On Monday, Bible study, Wednesday, prayer revival,
Yes.
Friday, vigil.
They still
But
do.
these days, programs have overtaken the activities.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing, there's no way you can do it without making noise.
Well, this is the problem. Noise is against the
That's
law.
why I'm saying
Noise is against the good health of the community.
Yes, sir. The government has always have this problem which they are yet to resolve. And what is that problem? Enforcing their laws. I have been in Lagos for almost 30 years now. I can mention more than 20 laws. Either during the military era or civilian era, they will tell you Lagos State government has made this law. But you will discover that Lagos State will not provide law enforcement agents that will enforce those laws to the fullest.
Okay,
so if you make a law
and you are afraid to enforce it.
So if you make a law that Reverend Ayoje's Koshemani don't steal, and there is nobody.
No, not don't steal, sir.
No, I'm using this as an example.
But the one I want you to use as an example is that Reverend Koshemani, don't use your church loudspeaker above 60 decibels.
Okay. Let's use that one, sir. And there is no law enforcement, law enforcement agent that
to make sure
that those things
you comply.
Yes. So it is not the fault of.
Can
those
one
who are
now say there's
the
such a thing as religious rascality, because you spoke about silent laws, and if, as the good Reverend has said, unfortunately people don't always like abiding by the law. And if government is not going to enforce it, what do you want us to do?
Ms. Ayori, I came across...
before you launch, sir, Mr. Folabi in Magodo, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
To join you on the show today. Good morning to my uncles on the show.
Sure.
Good morning to you all. Yeah, this is my contribution to this show today.
Sure.
The first question we need to ask ourselves, are we a secular state? We are a secular state. So if you want us to be observing Islamic calls and church calls like they do in Saudi Arabia, then we are making a wrong decision. I'm sorry to say this, I've always been a Christian until recently, but the thing is that you see these noises, to them it is like an advertisement to encourage people to come and worship. But if I am an idol worshipper or a babalawo, you are infringing on my own privacy and my personal belief. You are oppressing me. You are suppressing me in the society. That being said, the issue of land use charge, I see no reason why Nigeria now should not be taxing, Nigeria in general, not even Lagos State, should be taxing religious organizations. Okay. My point is this. Most of the places where you are supposed to have factories to be providing jobs have been occupied by churches and mosques. Okay. So if we are not going to have jobs, let them give us money from their organization construction so that we can use to develop the country. Okay. The churches and the mosques are overrunning the use charge. I see no reason why Nigeria now should not be taxing, Nigeria in general, not even Lagos State, should be taxing religious organizations. Okay. My point is this. Most of the places where you are supposed to have factories to be providing jobs have been occupied by churches and mosques. Okay. So if we are not going to have jobs, let them give us money from their organization construction so that we can use to develop the country. Okay. The churches and the mosques are overrunning the country, they are overshadowing the country development. They don't know this because of the religious sentimental beliefs. They don't know it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for calling in. Why I'm rushing you a bit is that I've got to nip off on a break, but I'll be right back to continue with this conversation. Stay with us, please. welcome back to our conversation with Reverend Ayojesu Koshemani and Alhaji Hassan Abdul Aziz Sani. And for the avoidance of doubt, we're not talking about, even though some people have said they should, in Nigeria, religious houses don't pay tax. At least one person has called in and said he doesn't understand why. In fact, two, if I include Maxwell in Ghana. I don't know why that is. That's not what our subject matter even is. It's about the land use charge. To be very clear, government in Lagos and all over the country does not tax, neither do they pay, I think, land use charge. But where an individual now builds a house of God, be it a mosque, be it a church, within his premises, and then seeks to indemnify his whole entire residential premises that contains a religious house to exempt it from the land use charge, that's when Commissioner Abdul Hakim Abdul Latif said, you can't do that. If you were on your own land, nobody will come and give you an assessment. If the church or the mosque had its own land, nobody will give you an assessment. But where you mix it with your residential building, no, you must pay. So that some religious men are even advancing that argument must have been quite surprising to the officials, is what made the commissioner speak up.
Mr. Yori, I can only speak from the perspective of Islamic religion.
Sure.
We call a mosque, Masjidullah, the house of God. And immediately you build that house on a plot sharing with your residential apartment.
Sure.
That mosque automatically is not yours.
I understand, because you've just said it's a house of God.
Thank you. It's not yours. You don't have right by carrying it away. You see, the issue here is this, is the hypocrisy that goes with it. People are bringing hypocrisy into it to dodge paying land use charges in Lagos State. Do you know why? You will see a story building. First floor, church. Second floor, residential. Third floor, eatery. You understand? Then you will now, the man will now be telling you, after taking money from the eatery, taking money from the people that are renting the residential apartment, you understand? They will now present to you that, look, this place is a church.
Yes. So that's what the commissioner
said. It's the hypocrisy. You see, that is where the regulation comes in. Look, don't think because you are preaching Islam or you are preaching Christianity, you can do whatsoever you like. No.
Okay. You even went as far as saying that in some areas, in the north, for instance, you say you require a license to preach.
The regulation comes in here. Government will regulate the way you preach. By the time you went out of the rules, they will call you back. This is not what God is saying. You are expressing yourself. You understand? And immediately, people come in.
Does that happen in the north?
With something new.
Does that happen in the north?
It happens.
Okay.
And do you know what is happening now?
Yes.
Do you know what's happening now?
Yes.
You see, the hadith of the prophet is there for us. Do you know why I'm saying this? You see, people tend to look at Islam as a primitive religion. Islam is not a primitive religion. Islam is a religion that foresees the future. Prophet said it before. That look, you don't bring in new things into Islam to achieve your selfish interest.
Okay.
The hadith is there. I will quote the hadith for you. I will quote the hadith for you.
I'm coming, sir, because Okoroafo has been waiting for the past 3 minutes. Maazi Okoroafo, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Alhaji. Good morning, Reverend.
Okay.
Honestly speaking, there is a difference between a worship center and a church. So there are many places we have everywhere.
Good morning, sir.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah?
Yeah, go on.
My name is Yakub from Dokwem.
Okay, carry on. Somehow, one call pushed up. I don't know how that happened. But good morning, Yakub. Go ahead, now that you're here. You just pushed Maazi Okoroafo off electronically. I don't know how you did that. Carry on, please. Yakub, are you there? Oh, dear. Maazi Okoroafo, are you there? Okay.
Mr. Yori, in the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad that foresees what is happening now, before now, the Prophet said, من أحدث في أمرنا هذا ما ليس منه فهو رد من أمن عملا أليس عليه أمرنا فهو رد. He who brings into these affairs something that doesn't belong to it, return back to him. What the prophet is saying here is this: you don't bring your own sentiment into religion and expect people to take it from you. What we are seeing in religion today is this: people are bringing their own personal interest.
Interpretation and interest
People
and sentiment.
are building empires around themselves in the name of religion. And you know, they are playing on the psychology of sensitivity of religion.
Yes, yes.
And that is where the government should come in.
And that's why government is probably handling this with...
And government is afraid.
Well,
Do you know why?
Yes.
Do you know why it's afraid?
Yes.
I had a documentary in one of the TV series when a man came out. There's a white man, anonymous speaker. He said, you should avoid discussing 3 fundamental things in your home. He said the first one is religion. Second one is politics. The third one is sports.
I hear you.
But I disagree with him.
Okay.
Do you know why I disagree with him?
Yeah, because
you can discuss it in your home, but discuss them intelligently.
Okay, but the sum total of what you said, sir, is that people are bringing in extraneous matters, you know, to this whole concept here. And government is pussyfooting because religion is so sensitive. And you don't want, when election time comes, the Muslims feel offended against you, or the Christians feel offended against you. That's far too large a tract of people to mess with.
Yes.
Mr. Yori, another area I want us to look into is this, because government must know this as well. About 70% of churches in Nigeria, in Africa, they have mission houses very close to the house of God.
Yes. Yes.
And most of the time, all those mission houses, they look like residential houses. But those
looking like is one thing. Government knows the difference because every house has its own documentation.
Yes. Then every churches also have a registration with CAC.
Yes.
So therefore, in that document, they will ask you, where is the address of your church? The address of my church is number 2, CMG Road. Then the government has the right to come to me that, sir, when you register this church, number 2, CMG Road, that is
a church.
It's a church. How come?
So what's this residential house doing there? That's another way to look at it.
Therefore, if it is a mission house, because as a pastor now, I am a full-time pastor. I live in the mission house.
Yes.
And that mission house is very close to the church auditorium.
Yes.
So the person that is coming to charge me anything has to be somebody that will understand me when I begin to explain.
Okay. You probably shouldn't even need too much explanation because he himself, being an agent of government, hopefully would have checked out the records and know that even though this house looks like what it looks like, it is actually exempt because it's part of the church. I don't know.
It's a church by registration, but this is a residential house being housed by the pastors and the ministers, not tenants. So if care is not taken, they will think my church and a residential house are together in one plot.
Oh dear. You see, maybe this is why you've accused government of being afraid. Yes. Both of you guys have accused government of being. Would you blame them the way you people are analyzing it and explaining it?
Because we need to say this here. That's why it is an international program.
Yes.
For them to know that, sir, as an employee of the government, wherever you go, make sure you go with a Christian brother who will be able to discern that, oh, sir, this one is not a residential house. It's a mission house built closer to the house of God. Because,
sir,
yes,
there are problems. But let me not waste Mr. George's time because he's been holding on for a while, and we thank you for it, Mr. George. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Sir.
Uncle Yori, Alaji Fani has comprehensively answered the question that we're discussing in just 3 words. Lagos State government has already shot itself on the foot by exempting churches or religious houses from the payment of tax. Because the issue I said is about tax. You are saying that the religious houses should not pay tax. And land use charge is also regarded as a taxation. It is in that premise that they are arguing we are not going to pay. So it's the government that started or gave them the bullet to shoot them. There is no logical justification for someone who has been able to build a house for whatever reason and cannot pay land use charge for that property. It doesn't make sense. If you can afford to buy land to use for any purpose, you should be able to pay the land use charge, which the government charges every land user. For if you have already told religious houses that they are not supposed to pay tax, this one is also another form of taxation. They will tell you, sorry, we cannot pay tax because you have already exempted us from paying tax. If a religious house that has money to set up a university that costs billions of naira, and they are charging fees for students who come to that university, is that not a business? They have other outfits. They have publication houses, and they registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Did they register free?
Okay, yeah.
So the Lagos government is the one that has itself to blame.
Before you go, Mr. George, how about the noise pollution part of it, our religious houses?
It is the same thing, Uncle Yori, because out of probably, I don't know whether politics or ignorance, you are saying that noise pollution should not be controlled simply because it is a religious endeavor. There is nothing in the scriptures that says you should make noise and disturb your neighbor. If you do that, you are not loving your neighbor as the scriptures say. The way to worship the Almighty is not by noise making, it's by obeying the Ten Commandments.
Okay.
In the Ten Commandments, there is nothing like religion. You don't need a religion to obey the Ten Commandments. So if you are disturbing somebody who has the right to privacy, you are disobeying a law. And that is the issue that should be addressed. Noise pollution does not respect the right of the other individual. That's the simple truth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. George. Interesting perspectives that we're getting here, but I don't know. Alhaji Hassan said that, look, in relation to that whole noise pollution thing, it doesn't go on forever. It's just a couple of minutes, and we just can bear some aspects of inconvenience if you want.
Publication houses, and they registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Did they register free?
Okay, yeah.
So the Lagos government is the one that has itself to blame.
Before you go, Mr. George, how about the noise pollution part of it, our religious houses?
It is the same thing, Uncle Yori, because out of probably, I don't know whether politics or ignorance, you are saying that noise pollution should not be controlled simply because it is a religious endeavor. There is nothing in the scriptures that says you should make noise and disturb your neighbor. If you do that, you are not loving your neighbor as the scriptures say. The way to worship the Almighty is not by noise making, it's by obeying the Ten Commandments.
Okay.
In the Ten Commandments, there is nothing like religion. You don't need a religion to obey the Ten Commandments. So if you are disturbing somebody who has the right to privacy, you are disobeying a law. And that is the issue that should be addressed. Noise pollution does not respect the right of the other individual. That's the simple truth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. George. Interesting perspectives that we're getting here, but I don't know. Alhaji Hassan said that, look, in relation to that whole noise pollution thing, it doesn't go on forever. It's just a couple of minutes, and we just can bear some aspects of inconvenience, if you want to call it that, if that's what you want to call it. But since it's so integrally, it's entwined with our lives, people shouldn't make too much of a deal about it. Is that your perspective as well?
No, sir. I agree partly with what Alhaji said. The 5 pillars of, the 5 prayer period a day is different from every other mosque also engage in some other sermons. Apart from call to prayer. Many a times you will be in your house, you see them in the evening, during fasting, Ramadan period, any
religious
period.
it's a tool.
And from the home speaker, you'll be hearing sometimes during Ramadan, you won't sleep.
You are not going to sleep. The same time, when any church now mounts a crusade,
the same thing.
For the next 30, 40 days, nobody is getting any sleep in that locale. So this is the way our religious houses are.
So I agree with government. What I don't like,
but they are not able to enforce it. For instance, government doesn't arrive at any of those crusades and shut it down until you turn the noise level down, which is verifiable that this is the accepted decibel level. Turn it down and keep it there, or pack up and go. There will be war. There will be religious war, right?
A religious man will always make noise. It is only a spiritual man that will not make noise.
I like that. A religious man will always make noise, but not necessarily so with a spiritual man. Alhaji Yakub, welcome. Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Sorry, I don't know how you were butted out the last time, but welcome back.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Alhaji Azan and the
Reverend.
Good morning. Good morning, Alhaji Yakub.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think George has said a lot. You see, for me, my own advice to Lagos State government is that...
No, before you advise to Lagos State government, that noise making that our houses of religion are making, is it good?
It is not good. It is not acceptable. You see, sincerely, I'm a Muslim. And then one thing is that, apart from call to prayer, if we call to prayer, the next thing is that everybody will enter the mosque and pray. The reference does say something, it's not quite long now, that in the Ramadan period, it is just 1 month in 12-month Islamic calendar.
Okay, so we should manage. It's just 1 out of the 12. Just like Alhaji said, that noise is only 2 minutes call to prayer. People should be able to bear that noise.
That is where I'm heading to when I said that I want to advise Lagos State government. You see, they should go back to the law to amend some certain thing in that law. Especially whereby another hand, you charge them for land use charge. Another hand, you are telling them that they should pay for some certain thing. Let me give you a typical example. For example, in our mosque here, if you enter our mosque here, and then you want to do anything in the mosque, they will say, Lillahi wa Rasuli, Fisabilillah. Anybody can bring 15 naira. What is 10 naira going to do in a mosque for the program of the mosque? And then if you come to the same mosque, you say you want to charge them. Then essentially you may not likely meet anybody in the mosque. Who are you going to charge? Are you going to come and raise the mosque down? No. They should go and review the law. Whereby if you build mosque and then you build out as a well, you have to pay for that house. And then if you make noise, if it is not Ramadan period, you make some certain noise, you should go for the law.
Okay, but during Ramadan, people should just bear the noise.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's not acceptable.
Okay. All right. God bless. Thank you very much. I really don't know.
It's my turn.
It's your turn, and he seems to be towing your line because he's just said, you didn't say during Ramadan. You said the call to prayer is just a couple of minutes. Well, no, we should be able to endure that. He has said that, look, 30 days of Ramadan is just 1 day out of the 11. You see, when we begin to explain the law away.
No, you know what's really happening.
What is really happening?
I said it earlier. There are some laws that are silent. They are there.
But they are supposed to be silent.
But they will remain silent forever.
They are supposed to be...
No, because those laws were made by me and you. Those people that are making laws are not different from me and you.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And they consider the sensitivity of the people.
Yes.
The dynamism of the people.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So the issue is this. You see, let us get things right.
You're saying that those laws are not divine laws. That's what you're saying. Look, those laws about
they were made
be considerate of your neighbor. They are not divine laws. They were made by human beings, right?
No. You are trying to mix up the two things.
I'm not.
You are trying to mix them up.
Okay.
Do you know why I say so?
Okay.
It's because it's very clear in Islam that You should like unto your brother what you like unto yourself.
Okay, the Christians call it the golden
لا
rule.
يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يكون هواء تبعا لما جئت به. You understand? The goodness of Islam of a man is liking to his brother what he likes to himself.
Sure. Christians
You
just
see,
say, love your brother as yourself.
Yes. You see, the issue is this. You see, Islamic message is a universal one. It's not discriminatory. You understand? So when we are talking about this, and we are talking about the law made by Lagos State government, because all this noise, we are all about how to extract money from us, the residents of Lagos.
No, I don't think
But
it's about
and
money.
the issue now is
It's
this.
about health.
Let us go technical.
It's about health.
Mr. Hori, let us go technical. Let us go to the building approvals.
Okay. Joe in the UK, thank you very much for holding on. Good morning.
Good morning, Yuri.
Thank you for calling in.
And good morning to your guest.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Don't worry, it's part of it. Yeah. Okay. First of all, I want to align with what Mr. Hassan said earlier, that the Lagos State government shot themselves on their foot.
Okay.
But having said that, like the pastor said, if you look at the book of Matthew 17:24, Jesus Christ paid tax.
Please continue.
Jesus Christ paid tax in the book of 17:24, where he asked Peter, "How is it rightful for them to pay tax?" And Peter said, "Yes, we should pay tax." If you read it there, you see how he paid his own tax. Why shouldn't they pay their own land fee? Even talking of tax, when somebody should build a house, call it a church, and you'll be making billions of money. So let them pay a land fee, even pay tax as well.
Indeed.
So apart from that, Yuri, the next thing I want to ask you is, when will the killing stop in Benue and other states? When will the killing stop? Killing of people.
All right, then. Well, thank you very much for calling in. I understand your concern, but you know we have to keep it organized. So this is what we're talking about today. We'll no doubt we'll be going to that. Besides, that is the question that there are other, current affairs programs on the station and elsewhere that you can catch.
We are going technical now.
Yes. Which aspect?
You see, if you have...
People saying that religious houses should be paying tax, that the mistake first was exempting them from tax.
Do you know what? When people hide under religion to transact businesses, they should be taxed.
Of course.
You understand?
Of course. In fact,
because you see, I'm telling you this.
In fact, I do
we
believe,
should be able to.
I believe, sir, that where a religious house
hide
organization,
under religion,
where it has
and transact
where it has a business under its
business.
roofs, they pay tax on, for instance, a printing press or a bookshop, or a bottling plant. They pay tax on those.
Do you know what's happening? You see, in Nigeria, previously, people are much more faithful, and people have, less access to spiritual knowledge, but they are much more faithful in their minds.
Which people?
Now, all the religion.
Oh, okay.
And now, a Muslim can quote for you from Baqarah to Nas. A Christian can quote for you from
Genesis
to Revelation. You understand? But the faith is not there.
Okay. Mazi Okorafo, you've come back again. Good morning again.
Yes, sir. Honestly, what all the steps that I see state and Abuja government should be regulated is noise pollution. The noise pollution is too much. Now, what the government is talking about is the station building is those things are not churches. They call it home fairs, where 2 or 3 of people come together to praise God. You see, when Jesus Christ appeared on the Pentecost day, the apostles were in the upper room. They were praying. The doors were closed. They were not using loudspeakers. So the thing is that we should go what is in our holy books and interpret it in the right sense. Not a question of, because Pentecost, because I read the Acts of the Apostles, you see everything is set and clear. They did not put loudspeakers. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you very much. Reverend, you see, the point is, there are those who also think that noise can also be a part of worship. People talk about making a joyful noise. And if your voice can be helped with a megaphone, it's even more joyful if people are going that way, because not everybody can understand why people insist on imposing their faith on the whole environment, not caring how they are made up. It's a different thing if you come within our enclave and only those within what this environment can hear what we're saying. The man in the third house there, maybe the second house will hear, but the man in the third, fourth house is not likely to be able to hear. That's not the way we go about our religious practices.
Yeah, Mr. Yori, you know, I was trying to say something before one of the call came in. You see, in the Old Testament, where God...
Very briefly, please, because we've run out of time.
When God himself introduced religion, God discovered that it was too rowdy. That was why when Jesus Christ came, he told the woman in John chapter 4, that Samaritan woman, look, I came to cancel religion. On this mountain and the one in Jerusalem, God is not interested again. If you want to come to God now, don't come to God religiously again, but come spiritually. Come and worship me in spirit and in truth.
Now, I think that's a fine place to leave it, Reverend, because we don't have time. And I think, let me not add anything on top of that. Interesting point that everybody picked out. Government shot themselves in the foot by now trying to be double-faced about it.
Let me be brief. It reminds me, the law of Lagos State reminds me of a friend of mine from the Eastern Bloc of Nigeria about this Osu of a thing.
Yes.
You know, Osu in the Eastern Nigeria, they don't marry them, they don't do anything. Somebody came with his own revolutionary zeal among them and said, people should stop discriminating against them, they should marry them, they should do that. Do you know the response of the people? They said, start with yourself. And the man could not do that. You understand?
So again, underlining the whole hypocrisy aspect that you talked about. Thank you very, very much, Alhaji Hassan Abdul Aziz Sani. And I also want to thank you, sir, Reverend Dr. Ayojesu Koshemani. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yori. Thank you.
Okay, that's our conversation today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh one. Jones Hussein will be here, and I'll be back after that, God willing. I'll see you then on Friday. Bye-bye for now.